in every corner of the world, we are being pressured by a monoculture, a global consumer monoculture. It is being pushed by our governments who have a blind idea of growth and development. That means supporting and subsidizing giant multinational corporations and banks, particularly through trade treaties, by deregulating global trade and finance. We're removing rules for Monsanto, for Walmart, for Coca-Cola, so that they can move more freely, and allowing foreign investment to come into every country. Now, all of that constitutes a breakdown of community. Unemployment, financial insecurity, impoverished governments are a consequence of this. And all the while, this global corporate economy uses more and more energy, more and more resources.
The promise of development and progress is starting to crack. The issues facing us are connected to a common global economic system. All of our people are being squeezed every day by that. And all of our imaginations are being colonized by that system.
It's a story of either continuing poverty and deprivation or new forms of poverty and deprivation. So both ecologically and socially, economically, we are actually on a very steep process of decline and sustainability and conflicts which are arising out of that.
More and more, everything is being put into the hands of big corporations. In particular crops, entire markets have been taken over by corporations like Monsanto.
We are importing and exporting the same products in the global economy, creating a distance between production and consumption so that the food that people eat on a daily basis is coming from further and further away.
There is alternative. The alternative lies in reverse this process and to regain control over the territorial and the very material basis of our existence.
The resistance now to globalization will not come from the government of India or from the government of Brazil or the government of Mexico, which is in cahoots with the United States government on several issues. It will only come from local communities everywhere.
People are not taking things lying down. Either they're resisting these forms of destructive development and or they are creating their own alternative ways of human well-being.
There's a very urgent need for a new kind of dialogue between people living in the global north and the global south.
We want to shift this global business to local business, which means give strength to the people and to real economy and not to the financial and fantasy economy.
The bottom level, what we need to do to create change is to reconnect with the people around us, with the land around us.
It's about rebuilding our deeper connections to nature and to ourselves, and this is a structural way of doing it, localizing economic activity.
And you'll still have a relationship maybe with people in the United States and so on, but those will be cultural relationships. Maybe even some economic relationships, but they're not relationships of dependence.
The localization movement is growing. At the heart of this movement is a very broad and very powerful local food movement that is gaining momentum around the world. But it's accompanied by local business alliances, local energy, decentralized renewable energy systems, local finance. You have the revival of local knowledge systems, and very importantly, local spiritual traditions that recognize and reinforce the oneness of life.
What we need is not scaling up of those solutions, but scaling out of those solutions, replication in millions of these variety of solutions, innovative solutions that are emerging. it's quite possible.
What we need to do is to actually create platforms in which these sorts of initiatives are able to get together, are able to synergize, are able to actually build those larger narratives, are able to begin to change the public discourse.
We're trying to create an alliance, an international alliance for localization, because we need a united no, one giant no to a continuation of that system. And at the same time, we need to see ourselves as actually part of an enormous movement involving hundreds of millions of people that are saying many yeses to diverse ecosystems, diverse cultures, diverse identities. This is about reclaiming our right to be who we are in our different ways of being. It's about reclaiming the diversity that is life.